Now, from WYDC TV, this is Big Fox News at 10.
Good evening. Thanks for choosing Big Fox News. I'm Nick Smith. Local municipalities throughout New York will be receiving state funding to help support clean water initiatives. Matt Kleindus joins us in Corning with tonight's top stories and details about the plan.
Good evening, Nick. The grants and loans provided by the state will allow Chauvin County and South Corning to work on infrastructure for wastewater management. More than $48 million have been approved to address 15 clean water projects throughout the state. In Chauvin County, nearly $3 million in long-term interest-free financing and $1.5 million in grants will be used for construction and improvements at the Elmira Sewer District. This includes the installation of a UV disinfection system. Meanwhile, the village of South Corning will be given $200,000 in short-term low-interest financing for the construction of a disinfection system, as well as other wastewater treatment facility upgrades. In a statement, Governor Cuomo said the projects underscore the state's pledge to protect the environment and the health of residents and families. The newly enacted budget dedicates more than $500 million to support clean water in New York, which brings it closer to the state's long-term commitment of $5 billion. Matt Kleindus, Big Fox, WYDC in Corning.
Now, a follow-up to a story we brought to you last week. The Mansfield Borough voting unanimously to oust Officer Brian Ghostbusters in a special session. The council needed less than a minute to tally up the votes. The move comes after Ghostbusters posted an inflammatory and racially insensitive TikTok video while he was on duty. His TikTok page has since been deleted. Ghostbusters was first hired by the Mansfield Police Department as an as-needed officer back in 2019. Right now, medical experts are keeping an eye on the Northeast and Midwest as cases of COVID-19 surge. And as Britt Conway reports, they're worried it won't stop there.
We felt very strong that we had this disease under attack, but then we get thrown a curveball.
That curveball? The coronavirus variant, first spotted in the UK. Medical experts say it's a big part of why multiple states are seeing a rise in new cases of COVID-19. When you look at case count from the past 30 days compared to the previous 30 days, the red and dark red areas where cases are going up are mainly in the Midwest and Northeast. And just 5 states account for about 43% of all new cases this past week: Michigan, New York, Florida, Pennsylvania, and New Jersey. The face of COVID-19 right now is a lot younger.
Hospitals are seeing more and more younger adults, those in their 30s and 40s.
One expert thinks states that are seeing surges should get more vaccines.
We've got to be able to do this when there are surges to try to help states out.
But another worries it won't be enough.
We just aren't going to be able to get enough people vaccinated quickly enough to keep the rest of the country from experiencing much of what we're seeing in the upper Midwest and Northeast.
Which means getting cases to come down comes down to us.
Other states that have had a positive or downward trend, they should look at what's happening in those states where we're seeing rises, and we can control this.
Now's not the time, as I've said so many times, to declare victory.
I'm Britt Conway reporting.
The wait for coronavirus vaccines can seem agonizingly long, but no matter how desperate you are to be vaccinated, don't try buying it online. As Anna Stewart reports, criminals are active during times of crisis.
Available now. Satisfaction 100% guaranteed. Adverts claiming to sell authentic COVID-19 vaccines found on the dark web.
We can see there we're more than 3 times more vaccines that were on offer in 3 months. So it's constantly going up.
Cybersecurity firm Checkpoint has been investigating COVID-related ads on the dark web for months.
So initially it was the medicines, how to treat it, then we found the vaccines, and then more and more. This then snowballed on. And what we then found later on was, as they became more interested in society starting to unlock and move forward, we then found more interest in being able to buy negative tests. And also now with the vaccines rolling out, we're finding vaccine passports as well.
So this is the marketplace that you initially found. Well, we're seeing Moderna, Pfizer.
The latest one we have here is the single dose from Johnson and Johnson. We can see there that's just an example of an advert.
Checkpoint tried to buy a Sinovac vaccine on the dark web back in January for $750 worth of Bitcoin. Nothing ever arrived.
We don't have any evidence that anyone's bought successfully and got a vaccine and had it delivered.
These products aren't just appearing online. Interpol issued a global alert last year, warning that organised crime networks would take advantage of the pandemic.
Criminals are using any opportunity. We have these fake certificates concerning a COVID-19 vaccination or test. We have even been seen in some parts of the world that the criminals are getting physically close to the borders, and they offer these kind of services, providing people who desperately like to cross a border, for instance, to see their relatives, providing them at the border with a fake certificate concerning a negative test result or even a vaccination.
Last month, a fake vaccine distribution ring operating across 2 continents was dismantled.
That led to more than 80 arrests in both countries, and all these thousands of doses of fake vaccines could be taken away from the market before they again put harm to people.
Both Interpol and Checkpoint stress you cannot legitimately buy a COVID-19 vaccine online. You may never receive a vial, and if you do, you don't know what's in it.
If something looks too good to be true, then it probably is. This is what's preyed on, this feeling, this desperation is the reason why this exists. But my advice 100% would be, it's not going to happen.
Anna Stewart, CNN, London.
Johnson & Johnson says it is helping investigate a possible link between its COVID-19 vaccine and blood clots. The company issued a statement saying blood clots have been reported with vaccines from all manufacturers, and it's not aware of a causal relationship. So far, 4 people have reported blood clots after receiving the vaccine. 1 of them died. The European Medicines Agency is also reviewing the possible link. J&J's vaccine has been authorized in the European Union, but it has not yet rolled out. The news comes shortly after several European nations pulled AstraZeneca's vaccine after similar concerns about blood clots. The murder trial of Derek Chauvin is entering the 10th day of witness testimony. So far, 33 witnesses have been called for the prosecution. The focus now on testimony from medical experts as both sides try to pinpoint the exact cause of George Floyd's death. Camila Bernal is in Minneapolis with the latest.
The prosecution in the Derek Chauvin murder trial calling a former Hennepin County forensic pathologist to the stand on Friday.
In this case, I believe the primary mechanism of death is asphyxia or low oxygen.
This ahead of expected testimony from the Hennepin County medical examiner who conducted the first autopsy on George Floyd. That autopsy report declared Floyd's death a homicide, but ruled the cause was a cardiopulmonary arrest, not asphyxia. But medical experts have testified that oxygen levels can be difficult to detect in an autopsy.
There's nothing on autopsy that shows low oxygen.
Contradicting a key tenet of Derek Chauvin's defense, that George Floyd died of pre-existing health conditions and drug use.
A healthy person subjected to what Mr. Floyd was subjected to would have died.
The defense focused on the potential impact of Floyd's heart disease and arguing fentanyl use may have been the cause of Floyd's death. But the experts called to the stand on Thursday rejected those theories.
He is saying, please, please get off of me. I want to breathe. I can't breathe. That is not a fentanyl overdose. That is somebody begging to breathe.
In Minneapolis, I'm Camila Bernal.
A solemn day in the UK as Buckingham Palace announces that Prince Philip has died. Benjamin Hall has more from London.
It is to Her Majesty and her family that our nation's thoughts must turn today.
British Prime Minister Boris Johnson paying tribute to Prince Philip after the royal family announces the Duke of Edinburgh passed away peacefully Friday morning at Windsor Castle, where he and Queen Elizabeth had been staying during the pandemic. In London, the official announcement of the prince's death was placed on the gates of Buckingham Palace as the Union Jack flag was lowered to half-staff. He was 99 years old and the longest-serving consort in British history. Prince Philip was married to Queen Elizabeth for 73 years. One of her closest confidants, she often referred to him as her rock.
We remember the Duke for all of this, and above all, for his steadfast support for Her Majesty the Queen. Not just as her consort, by her side every day of her reign, but as her husband, her strength and stay of more than 70 years.
Philip had several health issues in recent years. In March, he underwent a procedure for a pre-existing heart condition. Prince Philip and Queen Elizabeth had 4 children, including the heir to the throne, Prince Charles.
He helped to steer the royal family and the monarchy so that it remains an institution indisputably vital to the balance and happiness of our national life.
Prince Philip is said to have been involved in the planning arrangements for his own funeral. They're set to take place in Windsor in 9 days' time. In London, Benjamin Hall, Fox News.
Still ahead tonight, a leading health expert is warning about a possible tsunami of chronic diseases and deaths after the COVID-19 pandemic is over.
As the pandemic hopefully recedes, now that we have vaccination, it's going to uncover this problem that was already there to begin with.
Why he says we can expect a rise in heart disease and hypertension, and if there's still time to change course.
Here's your local stock market update from Big Fox. Now, your Twin Tiers forecast from Big Fox.
Tonight's Big Fox forecast is brought to you by William Mattar. Good evening, everyone. I'm meteorologist Kim Walker with your weather update. Cooler conditions today, but temperatures will still a little bit above normal in Elmira, reporting about 11 degrees cooler than yesterday, 10 in Corning, and around 7 degrees cooler in Bath. For tomorrow, we're going to see the sunshine return, and so it's going to be another warm up. In fact, temperatures will be a few degrees shy of our record high, which is 83 degrees for Elmira tomorrow. However, if you take a look to our southwest, notice the green that's showing up, an indication that another storm system will be moving in by the end of the weekend, and so the rain chances will start to increase. But for your Saturday, it's going to be a beautiful day, some sunshine out there as well. We start off around 57 degrees at 8 o'clock, about 10 degrees warmer by 10, and then it looks like mid-70s can be possible by your lunch hour. As we head into the afternoon, upper 70s will be possible, and then we drop back down to around 72 degrees with mostly cloudy conditions by 6 o'clock as that storm system approaches. So this cold front will start to move to the northeast right over the Twin Tiers for Sunday. So there will be that chance for a few showers, possibly even a thunderstorm or two across many of our hometown. And some of this rain will start to linger into your Monday. So our future radar is showing quiet weather for most of Saturday, but then around 10 o'clock in the evening, notice these showers start to show up just south of Cornell and Bath and also in Corning, and then move to the northeast across our hometowns by 1 o'clock in the morning on Sunday. It looks like it becomes a little bit more widespread, and there could be some moderate rain, possibly a thunderstorm or two from midnight to about 7 o'clock in the morning on Sunday. So this starts to move out of our area, and then we have another round of rain that will come late on Sunday. A few showers redeveloping at around 7 o'clock in the evening for Elmira, Corning, and Bath, as you can see right there. And then we are expecting maybe just a few lingering showers for your Monday morning. So you could have a few wet streets as you head off to work or your morning commute early on Monday. Here's a look at your forecast. Tonight, partly cloudy skies, quiet weather, lows around 49 degrees in Elmira, 52 degrees in Corning. But it's going to be a warm day tomorrow with temperatures about 20 degrees above normal. Highs will top out in the upper 70s. Then we start to see a little bit cooler conditions move in with the chances of rain on Sunday and Monday, and then we drop down into the 60s on Tuesday. Another storm system comes our way by Thursday, and temperatures will cool down to around 59 for the afternoon high.
A leading health expert is warning about a possible tsunami of chronic diseases and deaths once the COVID-19 pandemic is over. So what can be done? Well, he says it's not too late to change course. More now in today's Health Minute.
A somber prediction. The U.S. will be on the verge of a wave of chronic health conditions and deaths post-COVID-19.
As the pandemic hopefully recedes, now that we have vaccination, it's going to uncover this problem that was already there to begin with.
That's according to this report written by Dr. Robert Califf, former commissioner of the U.S. Food and Drug Administration. He says we can expect a rise in heart disease, hypertension, and type 2 diabetes, and says swift and comprehensive action is needed to avoid this incoming tsunami.
And it's not just cardiovascular disease, it's cancer and kidney failure and chronic lung disease.
Califf says the U.S. was already dealing with an increase in deaths from cardiovascular disease, like strokes. He says these deaths, when added to the deaths caused by the coronavirus and drug use, could cause a steep drop in the average U.S. life expectancy by as much as 3 years.
Prior to the pandemic, the health statistics in the U.S. have been deteriorating for a number of years, with an actual decline in life expectancy, which has never been seen before in the history of the United States.
Califf says possible solutions include universal health care, better sharing of data, and real-time tracking of chronic disease. For today's Health Minute, I'm Mary Maloney.
You've probably heard of the polar bear plunge, in which people get in a freezing cold body of water on New Year's Day. Well, one Nevada man is more than halfway through a year-long Lake Tahoe plunge challenge. Zach Slopemaker explains what it is.
Did it. I better get going before I get hypothermia. All right, bye.
Nicholas Mitchell is 200 days into his year-long goal of dipping into Lake Tahoe every day.
All right. Here we go.
3 minutes at a time.
I wanted to see if I could toughen myself to get to a point where I didn't need to wear a wetsuit every time I went for a swim. And I thought it would be a pretty difficult challenge. I didn't even know if I'd be able to do it.
But he's doing it despite some days being more comfortable than others.
Okay, this is it. It's the day I've been waiting for. In January, where we had 4 feet of snow here, I had to shovel out a spot to where I was going to get in and out. I actually cross-country skied down from my house and waded through the snow.
The cold has even helped with past injuries and mental strength.
I feel that it gives you a real boost of energy every day if you're feeling kind of a bit lethargic, a bit tired.
On the coldest day, Mitchell says it was 24 degrees out of the water and 41 in the water. But the numbers he's really focused on is the money raised for the Cecily Fund, which brings in resources to orphan children in Zambia.
The money that Cecily's Fund raises goes towards their education, and with the idea that education is the best way to break the poverty cycle, so that through learning and through education they can better themselves.
A girl in Colorado Springs, Colorado is using her writing to make a difference. She provides meals and cards to those in need. Josh Helmuth caught up with her.
Miriam Mohammed has made the most of her quarantine.
I'm not ready to talk to people again.
And that's okay. Instead, she's communicating through writing.
Little quotes and inspirational things.
Things much bigger than most 12-year-olds think about.
Maybe it would make their day. That's why I started doing them.
She writes a lot.
About 20 or more.
Homemade greeting cards, if you will.
So right now I'm writing, clouds can be anything like how you can do anything.
Meant to lift those up who may be down right now.
I did these at home for fun at the beginning, and then I got the idea like, what if I start giving these to people? So that's what I started doing.
Miriam takes the cards, gets mom and dad in the kitchen, and together, the three of them cook, pack up, and deliver.
Here you go, take this.
Oh, thank you.
Homemade meals
It has a mask.
to those without a home.
Now, Miriam started this project. She makes an effort to do it several times a year. Her biggest, most important stop is in downtown Colorado Springs.
You don't imagine that. You don't imagine that.
Miriam's parents are extremely proud of her and say this urge to help others started long before she entered 6th grade.
My daughter, she has a big heart. She has a mercy, like inside her heart. She tried to help other people, even like on the street.
Words that have meaning.
Saying, have a great day, and also remember that you are worth it.
Actions
Here you go, sir.
that have impact.
So anybody else with you? I'm not expecting anything in return for it.
A little girl
Would you like this?
making a gigantic difference.
There's a mask and gloves inside.
Engines at maximum thrust.
And liftoff. Soyuz MS-18 on its way to the International Space Station.
Early this morning, a couple folks from the Russian Space Agency and one of our own astronauts from NASA launched into space. It's a speedy trip to the space station with 2 orbits of Earth and about 3 hours of travel time. Their arrival brings the total number of crew members on the station to 10 people. They'll be working on multiple experiments, including studies about Alzheimer's disease and portable ultrasound devices. Avengers Assemble! The new Avengers campus is set to open at Disney's California Adventure this summer. The attraction, based on the Marvel franchise, is Disneyland's latest undertaking at its Parks and Resorts unit. Disney said on Thursday the land will open June 4th. That's a few months after Disneyland itself reopens on April 30th. Disneyland and California Adventure have been closed for more than a year because of the coronavirus pandemic. The new Avengers campus will include rides, food, and locales, all based on the comic book brand. Its premier attraction is called Web Slingers, a Spider-Man adventure, which is a 3D ride. PacMan is back, man. And this time, there's no waiting in line at the arcade, and you can play against dozens of people at once. Rick Damigella reports.
You don't need quarters to play PacMan 99.
Nintendo's been doing this really cool thing where they have their own take on the Battle Royale genre, which traditionally is something like Fortnite or PUBG, where a lot of people are on a huge island and they're all shooting at each other. Nintendo doesn't really want to do that.
The game may look familiar, but once all 99 players start,
it's chaos. Like the board is just filled with icons and things to navigate around or through. And so it can become a little overstimulating, but it's so addictive and so fun. The power pellets have always been that sort of magical ingredient in Pac-Man. When you turn the tables and you go and chase the chasers and you become the predator, it's such a fun element in Pac-Man, and I think it's key to why this character in these games have endured since 1980. But it's amplified like crazy with this sleeping ghost mechanic. When they become a ghost train, there's very few things in video games that are as satisfying as eating dozens of ghosts in a row. Gobble, gobble, gobble.
leveling up in Hollywood and even placing third during one match. I'm Rick Damigella.
We want to leave you with a smile tonight. Check out this newly released clip from the upcoming Ghostbusters sequel. It features Paul Rudd, who will star in Ghostbusters Afterlife. But more importantly, it also suggests the reappearance of arguably the most beloved star of the franchise, the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. The fluffy nemesis doesn't just make a cameo in the clip, he's the main attraction. And it's not just him. A virtual army of mini marshmallow men let loose in a grocery store, riding a Roomba, turning each other into s'mores. You've still got more than 6 months to wait before you see how the character plays out in the final cut. The film isn't due in theaters until November 11th. From our whole team, we hope you have a wonderful evening and a nice weekend.